Hey everyone, so I re-recorded this after I filmed it because I was fighting a pretty nasty bug, so forgive the re-recording. Some of this obviously won't be in real time. I kind of had almost no time to do the Soap Challenge Club this month, and that's because I'm a filthy procrastinator and I can't stop. I don't stop procrastinating because I keep getting away with it. Anyway, so this month's challenge was to do the Oasis swirl, and that combined basically doing more of a modified Taiwan swirl and dragging the colors in the middle through the other two sides. The idea was to do an ombre on both sides because I'm in the experienced category, and so I wanted to do a couple different tries. This first one I was really inspired by Lisa Frank. Anyway, so you do a little heart thing in the middle. That's goat milk, that's my fragrance, that's my lye, here are my colors. These are gonna go on this side here. These are the middle section, and then these are the outside section. So I'm gonna do a triple ombre, and then do my little heart swirl, and hopefully it'll all work. So I'm going to go ahead and add my lye solution to my cooled oils. I like to soap around room temperature. That for me is in the 80 range, 80 to 90 range. We are in South Florida, it's hot here. You can soap a little cooler than that. I don't want to risk steric spots, but I find that range is usually the best for me. Now I'm adding in my goat milk. I didn't add as much as I normally do because I wanted this to set up, and I know this fragrance deaccelerates trace quite a bit. The fragrance I'm using is Cucumber Melon from Nurture Soap. It's very, very well behaved. It smells fantastic, but it does increase the time it takes me to get soap out of the mold. So just a little food for thought there. If you are a last minute Lulu like I am, that's something to consider. Here I'm kind of carefully fishing out the bubbles that my stick blender brought together. This is something that I don't always do, but it's something that I've been trying to kind of keep the soap more smooth. So that's what I'm doing. I know it looks a little weird, but I'm just pulling up the batter and kind of smoothing out the bubbles and then wiping it back into the batch. So I'm going to stick blend just a little bit more. I wanted to get to emulsion. I didn't want to have false trace or any issues later on with the soap not being completely emulsified because it would ruin the nice design that I'm hoping. A common error that I see happening with folks that are new to trying to do really fluid designs is they don't blend long enough, and then they end up with this beautiful soap that looks really nice and it's gonna have issues later on. So just take the time, make sure that you're blending, understand trace, and know what emulsion looks like for your soap. So now that I am content that I have reached emulsion, my soap is debubbled a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and separate it out. So I calculated ahead of time how much this soap batch was going to weigh, roughly, and then how much I needed to add in each cup. That's just me adding the fragrance oil, again, Cucumber Melon from Nurture Soap. I know it behaves really well, so I can get away with adding it ahead of time. I normally don't recommend doing this, but again, if you know your fragrance and you know your batter, you can do this. And you can see the soap just is really well behaved. So back to these cups. I figured out that roughly each cup for the colorants that I wanted would need around 5 ounces of soap. This was a choice to add the colorant and mix it with a little bit of olive oil into the cups ahead of time to kind of save on how much time I was going to be measuring out the soap and then adding the colorant. So this is a little boring. I'm going to kind of skip past this part and just speed through it because there isn't really much to talk about. It's just me pouring soap off screen to get to the desired, and it's a little boring to watch. Okay, now that all my colors are mixed, let's go ahead and start this outside ombre. So I'm starting with this really pretty blue-green mica. This is actually from the sponsor Mica Zamore, and I wanted to make sure it got a little bit of showtime at the bottom. I kind of went back and forth doing a really smooth ombre in the beginning here. I was trying to go for a nice smooth ombre. And what I mean by a smooth ombre is that it slowly changes into a different color. And it's not easy to see where it went from one color to the next. And that's achieved by pouring a little bit of the color into the cup and mixing it decently and then pouring it in. There are a million different ways to do this so it's smoother. If you have not seen it yet, some of the best ones I've ever seen done are by my sister, Roxanne, at Caprica Soapery. Also, Lisa Cunningham at I Dream in Soap does wonderful ones. So I give up the ombre, the smooth ombre here, and I'm a little mad that I did this because you can see it in my final soap, and it's a little jarring. I should have gone for a longer, smoother one, but I didn't. So here I am starting with the purple now to go to the purple side of it, and I'll slowly bring it back up to purple all the way up. Again, looking at this from the future, I guess. I wish I had done this a little bit more smooth, but I was also slightly worried about time. I wasn't sure how much time I would have. I knew this fragrance behaved really well, but at the same time, taking a whole bunch of time to do this was a little risky. This was the first attempt that I had done this, and so I wasn't 100% sure on my timing. I get it all the way up to the top, just about, and I actually had meant to come back and put another layer of that bright purple on top, and I forget to. So I'm almost sad that I didn't, but at the same time kind of relieved because I don't like that bright pop of green in the final soap. So I'm just checking my divider here, and now let's start on the middle. So this is titanium dioxide from Brambleberry. It's oil-based, it's my favorite. And then this is a blend of dark purples. And I went to go use my dark navy blue, and I realized, no, I need to put more white in there. Again, looking back, I wish I had done black, maybe, instead of these blue colors, but I was trying to stick to that Lisa Frank idea, I suppose, in my head, and I wanted to use the dark blue and dark purple to kind of create that little bit of drama in the soap versus just using black. Plus, the challenge requirements were to have 3 different colors in the middle, so I fulfilled that by doing it this way. One of the things that I learned from doing this particular technique is something that's kind of obvious, but you don't really have an easy way to solve it when you're in the middle of it unless you've seen someone else solve it. Fortunately for us, our teacher solved it for us, but I didn't remember it. This soap relies on dividers, and if you look at the dividers, they actually take up quite a bit of space. So I overfilled the middle, and I filled the outsides a little lower than I probably should have to combat when you take it out that this will lose some volume. Our teacher, when he made his, after he took out the middle dividers, he poured some extra soap on there. I did not do this. Again, looking back, I kind of wish I had, because I'd have a little bit more soap in there, but I didn't. So here I am pouring the last ombre. This is going from a nice bright yellow. This is the orange part, and then I'm going to go to pink. This one was a little bit smoother than the other side. Again, I was trying to go for a smoother ombre, and I think I, at least on this side, got it much better, learning from not dropping that bright color change in the middle. The colorants I used were mostly from Nurture Soap, their Epic Color Collection. I love that collection. It's a mix of pigments and mica colorants, and they're just really, really bright and bold. So that's my orange. Now I'm going to start with my pink and getting into that last part of the ombre before I do the actual swirl. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit because I don't think this is super interesting, but if you want to watch, then I'll leave a little bit of music on for you. I wanted to slow it back down just to pull attention to the fact that I struggled with the dividers, getting them out here. I was a little afraid that I was going to have a mess on my hands. Something I learned after I did this one is to keep a small mold next to me and then to scrape the soap into there instead of just putting it straight down on the paper, because that wasted some of the soap I could have used. So here I am struggling getting this out. I was internally panicking. It wasn't super tight, it was just mostly that my hands were so slippery from the soap. So I eventually do get it out. I think the next stage here is when I actually finally wiggle it out of there. And it does work out fine, but just don't think that you're the only one that awkwardly has to fight with things, because we do too. Anyway, so once I've pulled out these dividers, I'm going to clean up a little bit and then go ahead and swirl the soap. This was kind of my best laid plans here. I carefully laid that out to kind of keep clean, and then considered my other choices of cleaning up my area. This is not a clean technique, and I'm not a clean soaper. Anyway, so the idea is to put your instrument in and make a heart. And you can see me making a heart here, go straight down, and then make the other side of the heart, making a heart again. And it's funny, like halfway through, I don't know what it is, but a lot of us start making mantra swirls instead. And like right there, you can see I get myself screwed up, because like your brain just can't seem to pattern it the other way around. Anyway, so I decided I wanted to do a double swirl, so I'm gonna turn this around and do it again the other way. I'm a little bit more successful keeping the pattern straight in my head this way. I'm not sure why all of us did it that way, but my sister pointed it out to me, and now I can't unsee it. So now I've flipped it around, and we will do the same thing the other way. So I'm trying to make the heart. See, caught myself going the wrong way. I'm questioning all my life choices. Did I do this right? No? Hello, this way? Okay, yeah. I don't know why this was so hard for me. And you see, I screwed up in the same place like I did last time and just kind of give up here. But for the most part, it came out the way it was supposed to. Not sure why doing that was hard for me, but it was. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a specific pattern we were supposed to follow, and it was basically drawing a heart a few times over and over again. So anyway, just gonna spray it with some alcohol, and then it's off to the oven to sit overnight. After I made this one, I made a couple more soaps, so I had to get my little area ready so I could make a few more. Here it is after it had set for a little bit, and then we're gonna cut it. So this was the second one I cut, and you cut these like a regular loaf, and here's what the inside looks like.